Could Nvidia's stock price reach $5,000 per share by 2030? That's an exciting proposition considering Nvidia's stock price is currently trading at $942. So that would entail a 5x increase over the next 6 years. So in this video, I'll answer that question. I'll look at a few estimates and assumptions, make some forecasts, do some scenario analysis to determine if Nvidia's stock price has a chance at hitting $5,000 per share by 2030. So let's get right into it. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now. All right, so like I mentioned, Nvidia's stock price has absolutely soared in recent years, jumping from a little under $200 per share in 2021 up to $942 as of this recording. So it's not unlike Nvidia's stock price hasn't achieved these types of phenomenal gains before. So it's not an unrealistic proposition to consider Nvidia's stock price soaring to $5,000 per share, especially because it's a leading player in one of the hottest investment opportunities in a very long time in artificial intelligence. So it's not a outlandish proposition at all. Right now, Nvidia's stock price is trading at a forward price to earnings of 31.46. I'm going to use this when I'm making my forecast and trying to come up with the conclusion of where Nvidia's stock price could be in 2030. This is going to be a key input that we're going to reference when we're making that stock price prediction. I'm also going to need some earnings per share forecasts for Nvidia stock. As of today, the current year forecast is for Nvidia to deliver $24.58 in earnings per share this year, and then $30.47 of earnings per share next year. Keep in mind, Nvidia is 1 year ahead in terms of fiscal year compared to calendar year. You can see that it says its current year is 2025, even though we're in calendar year 2024. And it says next year is 2026, even though that's going to be calendar year 2025. So I'm going to adjust for that when I'm making my prediction of where Nvidia's stock price could be in 2030 and whether or not it could reach $5,000 per share. I'm also going to need Nvidia's earnings per share outlook for the next 5 years. And according to this estimate, which collects a consensus from Wall Street analysts that are following Nvidia stock, it's expected to grow earnings per share at 37.89% per year for the next 5 years. That's the expected growth rate in earnings per share for the next 5 years. That's more than triple the rate that's expected with the S&P 500, which is expected to grow at 10.9% per year over the next 5 years. So now that we have those numbers, I want to draw your attention here to the bottom left-hand corner where I have the EPS here for 2026 expected at $30.47, and the growth rate of 37.89%. When I applied that EPS with the growth rate and forecast where earnings per share will be in the year 2031. Remember, I'm going to be using the forward price to earnings ratio, so I need the EPS for 2031 to make the price prediction for 2030. And according to this forecast, earnings per share could be $151 in 2031. $151 in 2031. So now let me draw your attention to the top right-hand corner. If I apply that $151 earnings per share forecast for 2031, and I apply the 31 price to earnings ratio it's currently trading at, the forward PE, I would get an estimated stock price of $4,708 per share. That would be a huge increase from the current share price of $942 per share. But it would not be $5,000 per share. It would not be $5,000. In order for the stock price to exceed $5,000, you would have to get a higher price to earnings ratio or higher earnings per share. And if the price to earnings were to increase to 35, then the stock price could increase to $5,316 per share. So in order for the stock price to exceed $5,000, the earnings per share, the price to earnings would need to be 33 or above. 33 or above for the forward PE with the same earnings per share expectations to hit $5,000 per share. Not a totally unrealistic thing, not totally unrealistic at all for Nvidia, a company that's growing rapidly, dominating the market, strong market share, strong competitive advantage, great profitability, expanding profit margins, expanding cash flow from operations, all of which leads to better valuation for a company. So could be possible. But what if it's even higher? What if the forward PE is at 40? What if the AI market continues to exceed our expectations and there's newer and greater developments in AI? What if AI helps fuel driverless cars by the year 2030? What if we have driverless cars broadly available on the roads today, powered by Nvidia GPUs? Wouldn't that cause an increase in valuation for Nvidia? I think so. And that could lead to a stock price of $6,075 per share. But what if the stock price, the valuation were to decrease to 25? Well, then the stock price would still have a huge improvement all the way up to $3,797, but it wouldn't be $5,000 per share. So to answer the question posed in the title of the video, could Nvidia stock reach $5,000 per share by 2030? Yes, I think it could. Given these estimates, given these forecasts, I think it has a very realistic chance of hitting that. I would say it's the second most probable outcome I have outlined here in this analysis. The most probable outcome, I would say, is a stock price around $4,700 or $4,500 per share is more likely, more probable than 5,000, because that would match the current forward PE with the EPS estimate, and it wouldn't entail any increases in either of those metrics. It would just mean that the valuation stays the same, the earnings per share estimates stay the same, and that would increase the stock price to that value by 2030. So it wouldn't entail any increases. For it to hit 5,000, it would mean one of the two needs to increase. Either the earnings per share estimate needs to increase or the forward PE needs to increase, which is less likely than the forward PE staying the same and the EPS staying the same. That's why I say the more probable outcome is the $4,500 to $4,700 per share by 2030, which I don't think any investor will complain, right? If you buy shares today at $947 and you hold them for roughly 5-6 years and they're up to $4,500 or $4,700, I think every investor would be happy with that kind of return on investment from Nvidia stock. So I think Nvidia stock has great prospects. I think its long-term potential is excellent. That's one of the reasons I've placed Nvidia stock as a buy. And actually, I have Nvidia stock rated as one of my top stocks to buy in 2024. Before I let you go, let me tell you about the greatest deal on YouTube. With just a click of a button, you can get free financial analysis from a professor with decades of investing experience. So what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you again soon.